As well as blind, eh? Well, I'm asking you, Pops, if you finally got round to persuading me to move into this rat-ridden garret, do you honestly know what you'll be letting yourself in for, eh? Pot luck at the best and at the worst.
You're making it sound like some kind of threat.
Change, Pops. But then it all comes down to that, in the end.
But you still agreed to take him?
Not at first, but the weeks passed. There were no other offers.
Oh.
They took the card from the post office window. The people up at the big house were getting pressing. Threats, eviction, legal action. Only routes I had, you see. No choice.
So Con moved in?
Oh, he moved in all right.
Yeah, and
I did me best for him. At first, I was even glad, just for the sound of another voice about the place. Well, natural, isn't it?
Sure.
The past can be good, but it's funny how eager we all are just to be alive in the present. Any kind of present.
And it didn't work out then, huh?
He took over completely. Not just his own room. Completely. His friends from the estate up drinking all the hours God made. No notion about paying the rent. And then, early one morning,
Yeah.
my mother's things, clothes, photographs, the bric-a-brac of a lifetime, really. A pathetic pyre at the bottom of the garden.
You ruddy what? Stink, Pops. That's all you got going here. Well then, oh, blind as a rotten mole, maybe, but can't you smell the stench of her, eh? Enough to drive the starlings off the trees, innit? Innit, though, eh? Stink and pus and a maggot-ridden old biddy's garbage. That's all we've got here.
You know right, Con.
No, right? Whose bleeding nostrils have they been getting up every hour of the day and night, eh? Got space to expand, you see, Pops. That's what Con needs. I'm never going to get it with this ragbag of mildew cluttering up the place now, was he?
You could have asked.
Oh, go on. So it's asking terms we're after now, is it? Yes, sir, no, sir. 3 bags full, sir, now, is it?
If you just asked first, I could have moved them, couldn't I? Somewhere out of your way.
So look at it this way, my dear old Molly. Conboy's saving you all that extra trouble, isn't he, eh? I'll tell you something funny, though. A couple of weeks back, I damn well goes putting myself out trying to sell the stuff.
You tried to sell my mother's...
Well, of course. That shark of a scrap dealer the other side of the village.
You had no right.
Oh, back to rights again, are we?
None!
Now, go easy, Molly. Oh, unless you'd like to join the pyre, that is. Oh, right, old scarecrow you'd make of it. Fancy your Guy Fawkes a bit early then this year, eh, Pops?
They were hers, damn you.
Yes, so now they're hers again, ain't they? Ashes to ashes, all that garbage, eh? You should be hanging out the flags, Molly. Really, you should. Doing you a favour, Conboy is. I mean to say, better than settling for a feast day for them moths now, ain't it? And what about them tarty little cherubs up there, ruddy green with envy when Mumsy gets all this nice new drag through the post?
Why, Con? Why?
Oh, kicks. Pleasure. Yeah. You haven't got a clue in there what I'm getting at, have you? Something you're never going to get round to, Molly. Oh, like tonight, for instance, me and my mates, regular old booze up my place, Pops, round about 8. Make yourself a bit scarcish, you will do that, won't you, Molly, with Con doing the asking? Always depend on blind old Molly when it's Con doing the asking? Oh, the fire's nearly out, nothing left to save. Oh, you could always try spitting into the wind.
And yet you did nothing.
I could have gone to the police. Should have gone to the police. I see that now. But when you independent on the strength and decisions of others for a whole lifetime, there comes a time when you need so desperately to feel the power of self-assertion, the ability to act. I found a thing to do. Winter was coming. The cottage was fitted for gas. I just got Con a gas fire for his bedroom. Very sensitive to cold was Con. It burned all hours of the day and night, and sometimes he even let it burn while he slept.
So?
One night, I simply turned it off.
Oh, you mean you went into his room and turned it off?
Oh, no, the mains at the downstairs mains.
Well, then?
But
what?
Then, when the flames had been extinguished, I turned it on again. I blanketed the crack beneath his door, stood there a long time, listening to the hiss of the gas as it escaped into the room. Con sleep, in his drunken stupor, become deeper, ever deeper, till I decided it had enough, sufficient to me purpose.
You mean you gassed him? You murdered him?
Well, that would have been a kind of revenge, but too simple.
What?
I hated him. But there's a need beyond hate. He was quite unconscious when I went into him, as deep unconscious as if he were under anesthetic. Now, underneath the cottage, we had a cellar. In the old times, it had been used for storing apples, vegetables, and now it was quite empty. The only entrance was through a trap door set into the flags of the kitchen floor, but long hidden by a big chest used for storing firewood. I pulled the chest aside, opened the trap, lowered the body in the dank smell of damp, the scurry of a rat.
And you left him there in the...
Not at once. No, one more thing to do, you see. To give him a taste of the affliction he'd mocked and made fun of over all these long months. I returned to me mother's neat front parlour. Her work basket was always on a small window table just where I'd left it. A long steel bodkin, the stout thread just right. I returned to the cellar, and there, in the eternal dark, I sewed up his eyes, stitch by stitch, neatly, methodically, upper lid to lower. I sewed up his eyes, and then I left him there.
What happened when the effects of the gas wore off?
Oh, I'd allowed for that. It was to be the final irony. My final irony.
Where am I? Where? It's not my room. Where? Light. Light, damn you. Light. There isn't any lights. It's all dark. My eyes. Name of Jesus. Eyes. Tight, closed, stuck. Tied. Knotted. Sewn up. No. Help. In the name of Christ, help! Somebody! Out! Out! I must get out! Let me out!
My final irony, my final triumph. In the deep, dank dark, he'd search for the door. He'd search, unseeing, screaming with the searing pain of his sewed-up eyes, groping, panicking round the damp, lichen-covered walls, searching, ever searching for the door that would let him out. Out. To the light. To the help he'd always taken for granted.
Not knowing, not comprehending that there was no door.
That the only way out was not in the walls, but through the trapdoor not 3 feet above his head. A trapdoor, securely bolted but weighed down by the heavy oak chest. I left that night, and I never went back.
But they'd be bound to miss him. I mean, up at the estate.
Over a few days they'd miss him, but he was only a traveling casual labor. They come and went at will. For a few days they'd miss him, then they'd forget. He was only worth forgetting.
The train had stopped at a small halt. The blind man pulled himself to his feet. I opened the door and helped him down onto the deserted platform. For a single brief moment he seemed to study me, and then he raised the opaque blackness of his glasses, and there seemed to be a smile. In the milk-white, clouded eyes, the ghost of a smile. Then he turned and pulled that dirty raincoat even closer about him and tapped his way towards the exit. The tap-tap of his stick mingling with the birdsong. We pulled away into that green, bright world of trees and fields beyond.